The multitude as my spoil, and an abode to be honored. He will die a rich man. That's all that verse is about. Here's the big one. 53:10. But the Lord chose to crush him by disease, that if he made himself an offering for guilt, if he did, he might see offspring and have long life, and that through him the Lord's purpose might prosper. But the Lord chose to crush him by disease. God's righteous servant will be familiar with disease and is like crushed because of the disease, exposed to death, that he is afflicted with by the power of God. The book he wrote on my life has all that in there, what that's all about. That if he made himself an offering for guilt, and that's what it says, doesn't have anything to do with guilt offering in Leviticus. Human beings being part of the animal sacrificial system, which Toby Singer teaches. It's an offer. It's an offer. An offering of one's self and soul to God for the guilt of sinning of the Jewish people. In return, it's a covenant between me and him. I'll do your fire refinement. You make me the righteous servant. I will make you suffering people in the first 6 verses, the believers. I will make them righteous. I will make them understand you're here. And that sin forgiveness is here. And it's time to get back to synagogue and have Torah written on your heart as you start studying as you have never studied before. Basically, you write the Torah on your heart, and you do it because he forgives your sins and remembers them no more. And that is so you become a holy seed, Jewish people, to build the third temple, just as the exiles were made a holy seed in the book of Isaiah, and they built the second temple as a holy seed. The offering is only a test of devotion to God, as was the binding of Isaac. When the test of devotion, will he offer himself for guilt or go through God's fire of refinement or not? It's set before the righteous servant the new covenant has already arrived. That's why in Malachi 3 he says, the angel of the covenant you desire has already left. Okay, he's here. What does that mean? I'm already sinless as Elijah. And if Jesus says John the Baptist was Elijah, that means he had the covenant of sin forgiveness with him. And of course it's not true, he wasn't Elijah. And that means there were no Jews with sin on them that Jesus could even die for. The book's a fabrication. Jesus is a myth. End of story. No question. That is why the angel of the covenant that you desire arrives before Elijah and God. The new covenant of Jeremiah 31, where the iniquities and sins of the Jewish people are forgiven and God remembers them no more. The guilt and emotion is from not following the laws and teachings of God by the Jewish people. God's forgiveness of the sins of the Jewish people removes their guilt, not the offering of the righteous servant for it. That is why it is just a test. God knows this before he covenants with the man. A covenant that he makes himself an offering for guilt. God might not let him die of the disease. A test of devotion. Trusting that God will not let him die. The primary purpose of verse 10 is not to test the devotion. It is to make certain that the animal sacrificial atonement and worship laws of the Torah cannot be used for the man described as the Christians do, anyway, with the human sacrifice of Jesus. It is the only reason God would crush a man with disease to make him be his servant. Apparently the Christians do not know how to read and comprehend the Jewish Bible that they took